show. You're also watching the right television show if you want to meet Catherine Ivy, and I always have. Hi.
Hello.
It's good to have you with us because otherwise we would be talking about the Catherine Ivy Foundation, the Ben and Catherine Ivy Foundation, without having an Ivy. And so I'm glad you showed up.
Well, thank you for including me.
Catherine, listen, you do such good work. Here we have talked about ascertaining people's sanity and rational behavior from a legal standpoint. We've talked about it from a psychological standpoint. And here you are with a foundation that does some really important physiological work. Talk about the foundation.
Well, our ultimate goal is to cure brain cancer. It's actually called glioblastoma, or GBM, which is a tall order. It's one of those cancers that it's a very devastating diagnosis. 98% of people don't survive beyond 18 months. And there's not a lot of answers. There's been one chemotherapy drug developed the last 25 years. So there's not options for these people diagnosed with a very deadly disease.
Why did you and Ben get involved?
Ben and I were hiking almost 7 years ago to the date, and his thumb went numb. And then his tongue started feeling a little funny. And shockingly, it was a brain tumor. And he was gone in 4 months.
Catherine.
But cancer is never a good thing for anyone, but with glioblastoma, patients suffer and their quality of life is impacted. He was a fully functional, full-time working, exercised every day, and within 6 weeks was completely paralyzed. So this disease, there's a lot of questions, not enough answers. So the purpose of the foundation is to fund good research so we can get some of those answers and help these people.
And we can remember Ben.
That's right. He set a good example, so I have big shoes to fill.
But with the speed of that, you had to have been in a tsunami of denial because it just had to sweep over the family.
I remember just every day, at the end of the day, thinking this is the hardest day I've ever had, and the next day would be harder. I lived very much in the present because you're just surviving. But because there are not enough answers for this disease, our foundation, it's important to have measurable and achievable goals. And so we, right now, are very focused we just want to get the patient living longer so we can study the disease and get some answers.
Well, we were just watching some of the work that's being done. Where is it being done? Who's doing it? And how far along are you towards some level of success?
We are moving the needle, but this disease is a little bit at ground zero as far as progress. But there are a lot of people working very hard. Brain cancer is the 10th largest cancer in this country. Only 18,000 people get it a year, so it doesn't get the research funding that a lot of the other cancers do. But it's just as important, and because the brain controls the whole body, I'm convinced that if we can find some answers for brain cancer, it will translate to providing answers to other
Who's
cancers.
the target patient? Who is the person that most commonly gets brain cancer?
It doesn't discriminate. It's all over the map, from babies to people that are older. It's about 55% impacting men, 45% women, but it does not discriminate. It just, again, there's not a lot of answers.
Are the symptoms inconsistent, or are they more often than not what Ben experienced?
Actually, Ben was pretty unusual. Most of the time it's a major seizure is the main symptom. Sometimes extreme headaches or double vision, because there are 120 different types of brain tumors, but 50% of brain tumors diagnosed are brain cancer or GBM.
Tell me who you're working with here.
TGen, Translational Genomics, we work with very closely.
What a good neighbor they are.
I feel very privileged that they're here and to work with them. Their culture is moving mountains for the patient. And so also reaching out to Barrow and Mayo. So some excellent talent in Arizona And one of the reasons we relocated here is to leverage off that, and because there's a lot of opportunity here.
And right now, because we're out of time, quickly, can you tell everybody watching what they can do to participate?
Participating in clinical trials for anyone diagnosed with cancer helps provide answers, and just funding research will move all this disease along and
To get in
serve
touch
everyone.
with the foundation.
IBFoundation.org, and we're on Twitter and Facebook. So,
see, and then all of the answers can kind of be condensed right there, and people can find out what the next step is. Of course, the next step that would be ideal would be you coming back to the Morning Scramble to tell us there's a cure.
that's right. Let's hope for that. So I'll bet on that. And so,
Stick around. There's more coming up.